Happy Sunday, mo kí gbogbo wa ní ibi tí ẹ bá ti ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa nílé àti ní gbogbo ibi tí ọmọ Yorùbá ń bẹ. Mo kí wa pé a kábọ̀ sórí ètò ìkànnì Koikimedia níbi tí a ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìran Yorùbá gẹ́gẹ́ bí Elédùmarè ṣe fẹ́ ká máa sọ ní wákàtí látara pé bàbá wa Prof. Adebanji Akintoye tí wọ́n jẹ́ adarí ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n ní ká máa kéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nípa pé ká lè jàjàbọ́ kúrò nínú ibi tó ń pè ní Nàìjíríà bí gbogbo wa ti ṣe mọ̀, ibi tí kò nífẹ̀ẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nílé àtọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ lóko. Mo kí wa pé kábọ̀ sí ọjọ́ kẹsàn-án nínú oṣù kẹfà ọdún 2024 ní aago 1:10 ní ibi tí èmi ti ń gbé ohùn jáde fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tí ẹ̀ ti ń gbọ́ wa ní gbogbo ìgbà tí à ń sọ̀rọ̀. Mo kí wa pé ọba Elédùmarè kò ní fi wá sílẹ̀, kò dẹ̀ ní ṣe wá ní adọ́run mọ̀títọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí gbogbo wa ti ṣe mọ̀ pé kò sẹ́nì kankan tó fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ọmọ Yorùbá kó kúrò nínú ìyà ju bàbá wa Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Àwọn gangan ni wọ́n nífẹ̀ẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ní a kì í ṣe màlúù, ọmọ Yorùbá ni wá, tí ìyà tó ń jẹ wá àti gbogbo ìṣẹ́ àtòṣì tí wọ́n kó sí wa nígbàyà kí a lè bọ́ nínú ìdààmú àti wàhálà tí wọ́n ń pè ní Nàìjíríà níbi tí ó ń bẹ nínú ibì kan ní Africa, ní West part of Africa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ nínú ètò náà.
Koikimedia, we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Àwọn sálára àgbáyé dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Ìgbéde lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá. Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. They never sabi wetin we carry for her, but we dey move closer before dem go sabi. I said they never know wetin we carry for body, but we dey move closer before dem go sabi. Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, ìléhùn ló ló lajú. Ẹyẹ tó torí kodò bí àdánwò ọ̀pẹ̀jẹ̀ lẹ́nu. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga. Òdúdú àkùbá lè gbé wá. Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe kiri. Ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀. Ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí. Ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé. Ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri. Ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá. Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbétò lárugẹ. Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wọ́n mọ̀ ní. Kásà, ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wà kájé gbúgbà yín jẹ. Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wọ́n mọ̀ ní. À ń gbétò lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ. Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wọ́n mọ̀ ní. News and sports, ẹ máa rí gbọ́. Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wọ́n mọ̀ ní. Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀bí ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia, ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o. Máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ̀, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀bí, ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò ọ̀tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dè mádé. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀. Igbó máa wọ̀ sájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀. Àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní bọ́ra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé. Ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrè gidi. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àwa là ń gbẹ́tò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àkúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Ọmọ Òdùwà ni wá o tọkàntọkàn. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì àdìmú bàbá yọ. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. We bring you one closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Afẹ́fẹ́ tó fẹ́ òòdùn kan jòkó lára ni. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àpèrè gidi Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Gbogbo ayé ẹ̀gbọ́n àwa ní bàbá o. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Òtútù alágbé dání òtítọ́ lágbé dání. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sódì kẹta. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àdúró tán, àtúnpèrè kéde. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Koikimedia we bring you one closer to your doorstep. Àwọn ní bàbá. Koikimedia is around to give us the test. Is around to give us the test. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kálẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹgbẹ́ tí ẹ̀kọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kálẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹgbẹ́ tí ẹ̀kọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo. Koikimedia is around to give us the test.
Professor Adebanji Akintoye, a true leader with a vision for the Yoruba people out of Nigeria peacefully. Baba Akintoye, the self-determination leader, the man that saw tomorrow, that the existence of Yoruba in Nigeria would be in danger if we do not exit as quickly as possible. A man that saw that should Yoruba people don't make a move now and wait for the European and the Asian and countries around the world to come and tell us that we should stay in Nigeria, we would all be in big problem. And that is the reason why we are grateful to have somebody like him at this particular time in the history of the Yoruba people. A ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn àgbààgbà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Some of them we are told are working quietly behind the scene, while some are probably not even saying much. But for the fact that an 89-year-old man, an historian to the core, a man that out of everything decided that the Yoruba people and the Yoruba country is worth fighting for. Stephen Adebanji Akintoye, known as S. Banji Akintoye, was born in Nigeria, is an academic, an historian, and a writer. Most of his book you can find on all the platforms, mostly including ours. He was born in Ekiti State, just around 1935. I'll be telling you more about who and how this young man from Ado Ekiti, after 89 years of existence in this world, knew that the best option for we the Yoruba people in our Iromo Alade, Onipe, pull out of Nigeria. èèyàn lè dàgbà tó yẹn ká sọ pé kò mọ ohun tó ń sọ. Is not dementia, is fit spiritually, physically, mentally. How come many other of his own disagree with him is what we don't know. But for the younger ones that are dreaming that Nigeria would favor you, this country will not favor you, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you are. And I'll be telling you a little bit about a particular franchise that many of us grew to know. And that brand is known as Mr. Biggs. Just like many of you that probably never know Mr. Biggs, and those of us that knows Mr. Biggs, it's just the same way that Nigeria will collapse on you. Mr. Biggs does not exist in Nigeria as we know today. It's because of what it is to be. Nigeria is not designed to work. It was designed to fail from the beginning. But before we go into Mr. Biggs, I will play the anthem at exactly 1300 hours, and I'll come back and we'll talk about Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa ní gbogbo ibi tí ẹ bá ti ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. The broadcast is going to be in English and likewise in our beautiful language, Yoruba language. As we go into the Sunday broadcast and the last day of the week, as we prepare for a new week, Mama sọ pé kọ́ba Elédùmarè ní ti ìbílẹ̀ àti ní ti gbogbo ibi tí a mọ̀ sí kó túbọ̀ máa fi ìṣọ́ ẹ̀ àti ààbò ẹ̀ kó máa fi dáàbò bò wá ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá wà, regardless of wherever we are around the world in this particular difficult time in the world that we are living today, the world that is full of so much hatred, evil for the Yoruba people and as many other indigenous people to be able to be free from the shackles and the bondage that many people are currently as we speak today. We are discussing about Professor Adebanji Akintoye and why he is a true leader among many in Yoruba land. I welcome you. I will not be mentioning names now, but I will appreciate everyone before the end of the program. Please share the program, like, and invite many of your friends to join us. Who is Professor Adebanji Akintoye? And why is it so important that we should be grateful to have such a very elderly Yoruba man born in Ado-Ekiti in 1935? Why are we celebrating him, and why should we continue to appreciate the love he has for our people and as many people that are not even Yorubas? As we were told, Akintoye was born in 1935. He was not just born in a very unique part of what would have been a Yoruba land. He was also well-read up to PhD. He's also a man that have traveled that knows the difference between what is good and what is bad. He knows what could be of benefit for the Yoruba people, but it seems many Yoruba people do not understand what he wants. There is nothing known more than the fact that having your own independent country will give you the room and the opportunity to decide how you want to manage that country. Whether those of you that disagree with Professor Banji Akintoye asking for restructure Nigeria, a restructured Nigeria will continue to mean that many people will be classified as citizens like cows, and those that continue to migrate into Yoruba land. Professor Akintoye studied at the University College, Overseas College of the University of London. He also attended the Christ School at Ado-Ekiti between 1951 and 1955, a very, very important time in the history of the Yorubas as we were being able to govern ourselves, as we were preparing into an independent country, even though we now realize that an independent country never came true, but it was the lies that was cooked and presented to us. Professor Adebanji Akintoye started his early life in Ado-Ekiti, where he attended Christ School between 1951 and 1955. As of today, this man at 89 is asking why many Yoruba people do not have quality education. We have been discussing education in the last couple of days. Today means that the last day of the topic, where we then move to some of the good news, path to prosperity in our Orile-Ede Yoruba, as presented to us by Professor Adebanji Akintoye. If Professor Akintoye was able to be well read between 1951 and 1955, during when Awolowo regarded that every Yorubas should be given opportunity to have quality education, kí ló wá ń dé lénìí tí à ń sọ pé ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà so that key education system yẹn náà kó lè padà. Akintoye himself wrote these and presented that to me and all the medias to use to educate ourselves. And it is known as a 95-page, known as the Good News, Path to Prosperity, Orile-Ede Yoruba, that I have been treating, and we're going into the 4th week. It's a new topic, but the last day of this topic, Akintoye wrote, and I read, "We shall revive and strengthen our education." Why do you think he's more concerned about education? Because according to the history, tí à ń kà ní bíbá, Bàbá Akintoye ní láǹfààní àti lọ sí ilé-ìwé kan tó ń pè ní Christ School nílùú Ado-Ekiti ní 1951 títí dé 1955. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá lénìí wọn ní access láti lọ sí ilé-ìwé mọ́ látara pé àwọn òbí wọn wọn ní owó ilé-ìwé. Ìdí tí a ṣe ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Professor Adebanji Akintoye, ìdí tí a ṣe ń yìn wọ́n kò ń ṣe fún nǹkan kan ju pé bàbá náà láǹfààní àti kàwé Western Region ní 1951 lọ sí 1955. Wọ́n dẹ̀ kọ sínú ìwé níbí báyìí pé education wa is the greatest enterprise of a modern Yoruba people. Ìran Yorùbá ló ń kàwé, àmọ́ lénìí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ò láǹfààní àti kàwé mọ́ látara 7% tí ìjọba tèní tó involve pé education budget. Láti 2005, a mọ̀ pé budget Nàìjíríà kò ju 6%. Àgbáyé ní UNESCO sọ pé you need 26% for education. A wá rí pé kàkà kí wọ́n invest sínú education, ìyẹn Shettima ó lọ sí vice presidential resident home pẹ̀lú owó gibidi lọ sí bí 21 billion naira. If that 21 billion naira tó bá channel lọ sí gbogbo 774 local government, ó ní iṣẹ́ tó máa ṣe nípa educational system àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá àti àwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù tó ń bẹ nínú Nàìjíríà. But rather, they've decided to boycott an education system, and that is why today many Nigerians, Yorubas, have no idea the importance of education because it has declined very, very rapidly fast. We know that from the coming of the schools to West Africa, àwa la gba iléèwé lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n gbé wá, even though we also have our own modern way of studying níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn. In around 1840, there was nothing called Nigeria as at the time. Nigeria creation only started some years after, in 1914, fraudulent amalgamation by the British for their own trade and selfish interest, and making the Yoruba people to remain a subjugated, and second-class citizen on their own territory. So in 1840, the Yoruba led the rest of Africa in education. Ní gbogbo ibi tó pè ní ilẹ̀ aláwọ̀ dúdú ní Africa, àwa ìran Yorùbá ni a jẹ́ àṣeyọrí, and that is why if you go to South Africa itself today, we have many Yoruba people that are the one in charge of their medical system. We have Yorubas well qualified. Kò ń ṣe pé àwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù náà wà qualified, but àkọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ pọ́n tiwa lé ká tó máa pọ́n àwọn tó kù lé. So when we go around the world today, kò síbi tẹ́ máa dé, in Europe, Asia, even in some of the farthest part of the world, the Yoruba people that are qualified are doing extremely well. But how come that has not translated to wealth, prosperity, a better future in Nigeria? I'll be telling you more about all that. Baba Akintoye tó láǹfààní àti kàwé ní 1951 to 55 told us that around 1955, there was free education that was put together under our father, the late Jeremiah of our time, another man that saw the vision, but the vision was not allowed to be propelled and fulfilled by the Europeans, especially the British, that knew that the late legend Jeremiah Obafemi Awolowo knew that the Yoruba people can become one of the fastest, powerful people in the world. The British stopped that. I'll be telling you more on that as well. The British knew that by giving Awolowo the first edge in Nigeria, maybe Nigeria will have driven to where it's meant to be. Bóyá Ọlọ́run ò fẹ́ jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ní gbogbo àsìkò yẹn ṣe lọ bó ṣe jẹ́ kó lọ. But this time around, another legend, another man has taken over from Awolowo. I am not talking about your fraudulent, corrupt politicians across Yoruba sector today. Tí wọ́n dé fìlà Awolowo, tọ́nà àwọn fẹ́ ọmọ Awolowo, tọ́nà àwọn tẹ̀ jẹ́ àwọn ọmọ Awolowo gan, but they don't have any vision. Their vision is about themselves alone. Their vision is not for you to have top-notch quality education. Their own difference is that their children can be educated and then subdue and make sure that you do not well qualify and you will not be able to challenge them. As we know, as we were coming into the independence in 1960, various factors have now combined láti jà wá lólè tí ọmọ Yorùbá gradually of their lead in school enrollment and in the quality of education. There is now what they called rejection of education by those controlling the federal government of Nigeria. Kó tó di pé President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn for only a temporary measure. As at the time, including myself, we were able to at least get a good cutoff mark, only for us to be told that you cannot get into the government colleges as you wish. You could not get into those schools as you wanted to from university up to secondary school because of the fraudulent federal cutoff mark that favored the North as against the South and the Southeast. So Agbodoni, one particular cutoff mark that is different from the rest. So we have been marginalized for a very long time, but we were not exposed enough to have it explained as we are doing today. All these we are doing today, we could not gain that throughout our period at university and throughout our period at secondary school, when somebody like Obasanjo and the rest of them decided, for again their own selfish interest, to remove history from what could have taken us to understand the true meaning of a fraudulent country known as Nigeria. When it came to around 2005, we know that Nigeria did not and was never ready to invest in education. It was only 6% as compared to the 1950 tí Baba Awolowo tí wọ́n ṣe pé kí bàbá Akintoye kó lè láǹfààní àti lọ sílé ìwé in 1950 during the Western Regional Government. They were allocating 40%. Níbo làwọn ti rí owó tó fi ń ṣe nígbà yẹn tí Nàìjíríà ò ní owó yẹn mọ́ nísìn? Why is education not pushed at 40%? Buhari shut down every institution for 9 months. Ẹni tó bá gbóyún sínú á ti máa prepare láti bímọ. Buhari is a Fulani Gambari man that knows that education is valuable to the people in the south, but to the northerners, they are alimajiris. They've always subjected them to many poverty levels, including education. But they want to push them to the southwest and make them to become nuisance and become terribly ungovernable for us in the southwest. That is why we have the Boko Haram, the ISIS, the ISWAP, because the northerners, though Sanusi said that the north that is not educated will come back to bite each one of us. It's not just going to bite people in the north, because we know that they were bringing them, especially during the COVID-19, with multiple truck of Dangote, filling them up. We were asking, Nibo Gongolonlo, is because the north was never ready to invest in education, as against when Chief Obafemi Awolowo of the Western Regional Government was allocating as much of 40% into the budget of education, even though UNESCO told us that we need about 26% if we're truly going to make education a better place for many of our countries around the world. Nigeria care less about that. They were doing subsidy for the criminal cabals and their friends and their international colleagues. They were taking resources that could have been pushed back into education. They didn't want you to be educated, but they want you to love Nigeria. But we saw Saraki and the rest of them, their children, all schooling abroad. Just recently, we saw Seyi Makinde appreciating his daughter at one of the universities in America. Well, how come that most of the universities are depreciated? Most of the universities do not have up-to-date equipment, not even access to the basic things of life. Just as the education sector was destroyed, Mr. Biggs, that we'll be talking about, also went down because they were given franchise just as they were giving them during the time of the Nigerian Airways. Nigeria will never work, whether you like it or not. Continue to pray. It does not matter how you pray. The shithole country is finally crumbling on your face, my face. It's just about when and how soon. As I continue to give you the background of Baba Akintoye, it was not just at Christ School, he went further because he wanted to know more about who we are. And the only way you can know who you are is to get the history. So Baba Akintoye decided to study history at the University College, which is also the Overseas College of University of London that is still existing today. He also went further at, if that happened between 1956, just a year after Baba Akintoye Shetan, in 1955, ní Christ School, Ado-Ekiti. Yes, many of you have probably completed your university, but ask yourself, what has been the outcome? Many graduates sitting at home, many graduates unable to use what they've graduated with, whether in nursing, whether in chemistry, engineer, whatever you have studied, you've not been able to make use of it. And the reason is that Nigeria did not prepare any of you from coming from university to come and get a job. That is why many people, to about 11 million Yoruba people, have left the offshore of Nigeria to what we call Japa. Baba Akintoye now must ṣàlàyé Japa fún wa, because that is a very, very bad word. But I will wait for him as an historian to come back and tell us that. So as Baba Akintoye was completing that secondary school, that is one of the most basic, because tó bá kàwé dé secondary school, at least one more dear tatata to be able to make use of yourself. But many people became drop out because they afford láti lọ sí university. Even those that claim to be indigenous people could not get to their indigenous university, like University of Lagos or Lagos State, will be sent to the north because they were told that the cutoff mark is not going to work for them. But North will end up coming to Lagos and become a student. But for those that want to make sure that they get into those schools or universities, you know what you normally do? It becomes another fraud and corruption, paying somebody, doing the back end, doing the negotiation. Rather than getting into those universities as the indigenous people, you were never wanted to be part of that indigenous university. As Baba Akintoye was going into that university college, he then went again and doing his doctorate study. Just 3 years, just almost as nobody knew that civil war was going to come in 1966. So Baba Akintoye lọ ṣe what we call doctorate study. So ìwọ tó bí lánàá, ìwọ ọmọ tó ṣẹ̀ bí ní 2000, ìwọ tó bí ní 1999, ìwọ tó ṣẹ̀ bí lénìí, ìwọ ń sọ pé Baba Akintoye ò mọ tó ń sọ. A man that was able to study with the support of a Western region government, with the support of a system that made him who he is today at 89. Ìwọ wá gbọ́n jù wọ́n lọ. Ìwọ rò pé ìwọ ló kọ́kọ́ gba PhD. Baba Akintoye had his PhD as far back as 1960 something or 1966. So you today, well-read Yoruba man from whatever university, Cambridge, Oxford, or Yale. So you are more intelligent than him, that you now think that with the corrupt system of government that you will be able to fix Nigeria. You are dreaming. Come back to reality. PhD. Baba Akintoye is well read and he can see the future. And he is the seer. Baba Akintoye ń wo ọ̀la ọmọ Yorùbá, but ọmọ Yorùbá ní ẹ fi wálẹ̀ sínú ìdààmú tá a wà yìí kájọ máa dààmú ẹ̀ bí àṣà brọ́dà mi Zazu tó ní zoo, Nigeria is a zoo, babu. That is what Nigeria is. So we know that Baba Akintoye went for his doctorate study between 1963, just 3 years after the fraudulent independence, up to 1966. At what is now known as University of Ibadan. Tebalosi University of Ibadan. I'm sure most of their toilets completely wreckage, buildings destroyed, no investment in that sector because the federal government care less and the fraudulent governors are sending their own children to Yale University. But the same Yoruba people are looking at them and they're so excited. University of Ibadan, tó jẹ́ kí gbogbo èèyàn wá kàwé níbẹ̀, kó gba degree níbẹ̀, kó gba PhD níbẹ̀, tó yẹ pé kó bá wọnú hall ẹ̀ kéètì máa mú ẹ kó máa sọ pé can you please reduce the air condition, it's too cold. Òru ló máa mú yín gbòò pàlà ẹ̀rí kankan ṣe níbẹ̀. No proper practical. Ìyà ń jẹ yín as a student. Inú ìyà, inú ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ fi ń jáde nínú university yẹn. But at the end of the day, you say it is what Nigeria is. No, it is not what Nigeria is. It is a deliberate act. My Lord program, kí ló ti ṣẹlẹ̀? Kí ló mọ̀? All right, I should show my program anyway, so I sort it out. All right. It might be no. With family comfort, they say. As I'm saying, Baba Akintoye was able to see all these problems that is coming to Yoruba people, and he wanted it to be stopped as quickly as possible. But the Yoruba people, especially the greedy politicians, started fighting him, started asking questions, started saying that, no, we don't want that. We want to keep Nigeria. Because by keeping Nigeria, they'll be able to keep their looted fraud that they've taken out of that system for a very long time. While at the University of Ibadan, where he was awarded PhD tó jọ̀wọ́ lójú lẹ́ni ẹ̀wọ̀ náà ni ẹ̀wọ̀ tó ń gbọ́ mi you master holder in the UK Business Center. Baba Akintoye got his PhD right inside the University of Ibadan. Why are you not getting yours in University of Ibadan? Why must you come to UK, come and do your PhD? Go and do your PhD. If University of Ibadan is worth it today, you know you just want to japa. That's why you want to come and do your PhD in UK. Baba Akintoye did his PhD inside the University of Ibadan. That is what we are reading here. Because as at the time, it was a top-notch education with a better quality. With a quality that Baba Akintoye now said has declined. And as I go back into, we shall revive and strengthen our education. Baba Akintoye made it known that in most states of Yoruba today, Southwest, teacher salaries were not being regularly paid. Morale was seriously lost among teachers. Schools were no longer receiving adequate teaching materials. School buildings were completely deteriorated. No single toilet, no wash and basin, nothing to be proud of, as Baba Akintoye was in 1963 for 3 years to officiate PhD one ní Ìbàdàn. I'm sure water was running. Imagine then, water was running into Ibadan. Go to Ibadan University today. I can tell you that water is not running because there's no water. Not that they don't have engineers as students. It's just because the contraction called Nigeria does not want you to see the good side. But they want you to come to UK and do the same thing you could have done in Ibadan or any other university in the Southwest, including Ilorin or Lagos, where as at 1963, a lot of Yoruba people were qualified as PhD because we are well read. So if teachers are not being paid regularly, we saw a video recently on the social media. Tonika Omo Kekeke Lokpomi, the woman was angry, upset. Why do you send them to go and be fetching water? Oh, the bucket is not heavy. The woman just used her hand to give it a can and told the children to go back into the school. If the school, and this is in Lagos, if the school had a proper water system, why would you send people to go and fetch water? Continue to live in denial, but my job is to lecture you that in 1963, for 3 years, Professor Adebanji Akintoye had his doctorate inside University of Ibadan, not outside Nigeria. It was well inside the western region of Yoruba land, under a brilliant leadership of Jeremiah Obafemi Awolowo. By 2010, the mass unemployment, thank you so much for the super chat, our father Son Odu. Shalafia Neo, keep Nigeria at their own peril. Thank you so much, sir. By 2010, the massive unemployment among Yoruba graduates of schools, colleges, and universities was discouraging Yoruba parents about education. Bàbá mi mo fẹ́ lọ sí university. Èyí tẹ́gbọ́n ẹ̀ kà àìtí ríṣẹ́ mo lówó university kankan ó yá lọ kọ́ṣẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ bàbá télọ̀. There's nothing wrong in that. Mọ́mì mo fẹ́ wọ uni lọ. Àǹtí ẹ̀ tó jáde láti bí ọdún 4 àríṣẹ́ fún. Wọ́n ti bá sùn títí gbogbo iṣẹ́ tó lọ pẹ̀lú CV ẹ̀. Ọ̀gbà ọ̀rà fún níṣẹ́. Gbogbo àwọn bàbá tó tàn wọ́n. Tàbá ti rí pọ́ bí ní wọ́n tó ní iwájú tó nídìí. Agbàsí fún wọn with the hope. This, I am not making this up. One of my mother in Nigeria told me this, that is how she got a job around when I was getting into university, secondary school in 1990. wọ́n confirm in me pé báwọn set tí wọ́n ṣe gbaṣẹ́ nìyẹn wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ báwọn èèyàn sùn for them to be employed in 1990. And you, Yoruba man, Yoruba woman, attacking Professor Adebanji Akintoye, attacking a man like that, attacking a man that knew that the only option now is for us to pull out and have our own economy and develop a system that works for everybody. But no, they're waiting for Sanwo-Olu to develop and give you jobs. Sanwo-Olu that cannot take care of his own family because his family are the Yoruba people in Lagos State, not just his own immediate family. We expect him to take care of everybody in Lagos State. But people will say, no, Koiki, shut up. We have too many Igbo people in the Lagos State. They are bought everywhere. They have destroyed everywhere. We have Hausa people. We have other people. That is why it has become so difficult for Sanwo-Olu to provide the... That is why they're stressed in there. Agreed. But imagine if all the resources that Lagos is making is being controlled by the Yoruba government. We will tax people that are living there. We will control them with our own constitution. If they are not going to listen to us, we will chuck them out. UK doesn't want criminals. UK doesn't want just anybody. They want people. Somebody called me from Badagry yesterday. Mr. Koiki, can you help me out? I said, well, I love to listen to when you people say help me out. But don't tell me to give you money and don't tell me to get you to UK. And that's exactly what he wanted. He says he's a mechanical engineer. He wants to come to UK. You think they're looking for mechanical engineer? No. They're not looking for mechanical engineer. We are looking for people that can take care of our elderly people because there's a shortage, even though I don't know anything about it. It is called COS. Many people have duped each other. Some people have collected money. Some people are in Nigeria. They don't know anything about COS. They were collecting money from Yoruba people, frauding each other. Corrupt system. Who do you complain to? There's no justice, nothing. So eventually, I said to the young man, I said, hey, look. UK does not need mechanical engineer. UK need people, but not mechanical engineer. If you can get here, fair enough. But don't expect UK to send employment letter to you in Badagry, where there was what we called the point of no return as a mechanical engineer. I am just telling you, this is what many people are going through. Especially you think that your degree will allow you to come and work in this country. Even me, that I've lived here for too long, they still limit to what we are allowed to do and not to do, even though opportunities are there. I'm gonna do it. Bear with me. So, as we know, education is very, very unique. Education, please share the program. Doing a thumbs up on a program like this, it helps us because if you're watching it, and I know a lot of you are watching, whether live or repeated, it is important that you help us to push this message. Yoruba people need to listen to what we are saying. We are not fighting your government that you love. We are fighting to save our future and the present one against those that do not want us to succeed and have a better life. Ìjàtà ń jà lẹ́nu, kò ń ṣe ìjàmbá Tinubu jà, àmbá Buhari jà, kò sí tó kàn wá pẹ̀lú àwọn méjèèjì. We are fighting so that kí ìran èmi àti ẹ kó má bàa di olòṣì, kí ìran wa kó lè ní àṣeyọrí gẹ́gẹ́ bí lídà wa tó ń darí wa tí a mọ̀ sí bàbá Akintoye tó ṣetán ní iléèwé kan tó ń pè ní University of Ibadan ní 1966 lẹ́yìn ọdún mẹ́ta tó ṣe doctorate tó fi gba PhD. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tún lọ padà ká lọ gba ìtàn díẹ̀ nípa bàbá yìí. látara pé a dúpẹ́ fún bàbá yìí tó dúró ti ìran ẹ̀ ní wákàtí. Nígbà tí bàbá Akintoye ṣe tán ní 1966, ìyẹn ní ìlú Ìbàdàn, níbi tí wọ́n ti gba PhD nínú history in 1966. Kí ni wọ́n study? I'm asking you, what have you studied? You study what? Or you study history as well. So you know better than Baba Akintoye, Nigeria. I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm asking you. So you now, you are more well qualified to tell me that Nigeria will... over here can listen, see, Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún. Kí ni qualification Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún? Governor. After that, what is the qualification of Yayi? Gbenga Daniel. Ṣebí gbogbo yín ti rí gbogbo jágbajàgba tó ṣe sí Lagos, Ogun State. Amosun, Ìbùkúnlé Amosun. Sanwó-Olú. Ṣèyí Mákindé. Adeleke. Fáyẹmí. Fáyọ̀ṣe. Ràúfù Àgbẹ̀ṣọlá. Ìyẹn tẹ̀ náà wọ́n ṣe politics mọ́. You think all these people are leaders? Àwọn yẹn ló ń pè ní ọ̀jẹ̀lú. Àwọn yẹn ń ṣe òṣèlú. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ni wọ́n. Until they come back to the reality and support a cause that will pull every one of us out together. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ni wọ́n, olè ni wọ́n. Àwọn rẹ̀ ká máa pè ní bàráwò bánsá ni. They've stolen so much. Pẹ̀lẹ́, one Heritage Bank ti collapse. I don't know. Wọ́n níyàn kan ní 100 million níbẹ̀, wọ́n náà máa fún ní 5 million. Continue to support a failed country when an historian. Remember that nígbà tí Bàbá Akintoye ń kàwé ní Ìbàdàn, kò tí sí computer age like this. But they were well read. Àwọn máa ń kàwé, well read in details. So that is why, even at the age of 89 years old, Bàbá ẹ̀ tún ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìwé tó ti kọ. This is just another one. 95, èmi gan tí èmi gan lè jókòó kí, Bàbá wa gbé ilé wa lọ́wọ́. Ọmọ Yorùbá wa jókòó. Oh, you want to become popular through TikTok, so you can become famous. Buy Mercedes-Benz with your ritualistic voodoo. So you think that is going to give money? You think that is what they are doing in China? You think they are doing voodoo to make... China is creating 1 million millionaires yearly. You think they are doing voodoo? Orúkọ ń gé orí èèyàn. Ó fẹ́ gé orí èèyàn láti fi ṣògùn owó. Ta ló sọ fún ẹ pé gbogbo kìíní yẹn ló fi make owó ní China? You have an economy that works, where you produce a large quantity, then you supply it outside, because there's a need for things on a daily basis. Kódà, you need àlàáfíà. That is why all our religious centers are there, so that if you're sick, you can go there rather than go to the hospital. I need doctors. Don't tap puff lójú títì. Well qualified doctors. One tap of puff. There's nothing wrong in that, if that is their passion. But there's no point wasting their years with all the strikes. Remember that as a doctor in university in Nigeria, you don't know when you are going to fully qualify. Because when they say 7-year course, remember to add another 7 years with strikes. Baba Akintoye then went and taught history. He left University of Ibadan. Happy Sunday to you all. I'll not be mentioning names so that I don't get distracted. Baba Akintoye qualified as a PhD in Ibadan. He now also went to another powerful best university in Yoruba land, known as Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, in Nigeria, where he taught history at the department, where he became a professor He went further to become the director of the Institute of African Studies. Hey, Pan-Africanism. Why do you think Baba Akintoye is not talking about Pan-Africanism? That is more focused about the Yoruba people pulling out as an independent country. Because akọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ gbára wa sílẹ̀ ká tó máa sọ̀rọ̀ Pan-Africanism. Ó kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ rescue èèyàn tiẹ̀. That was between 1974 and 1977. He also taught African history, not in Africa. He did that at university in the United States of America, including the University of South Florida. All these are evidence you can go and verify, not like the Tinubu one that we don't know whether true or false. So look at Yoruba people, new Gen Z on TikTok. Much better to understand Nigeria. They are debating. We're going to find justice. We are looking for justice for all. Gen Z, instead of us to work and push, you still have a life. Yes, you can enjoy it. EFCC went to the club and go and see Nyash, women Nyash. They were beating those women. I posted it on my timeline yesterday. Somebody said, what is this? Idini. Or then it's debate baje. Even if they are criminals, would dare beat somebody in UK because they are criminals and you busted them inside the club? You will pack them not like animals. You will put them in the van, take them to the police station, and start documenting them in the computer. Go and see what EFCC has done in Akure. I am not here to defend criminals or those that are involved in crime, okay? But you don't beat people. See how EFCC tó ná baálé ìyàwó lélé tí dìbà ti bàjẹ́ tó nídìí ló dà. What a country. In 21st century, and Yoruba people want us to continue, and they will say, oh, God is coming to solve it. No, Baba Akintoye is already there telling us that we need to pull out. Not by fighting, not by killing each other. Nígbà tẹ́ bá ń ṣe àwọn program yìí lórí TikTok, ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Yoruba nation. Irọ́ o. Koiki wọ́n ti nà wá o, ẹ gbà wá o, EFCC ti nà wá o. Oh, come on. Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ Yoruba nation now. You know why? Because ẹ ní proper qualified education bí Baba Akintoye. Baba Akintoye mọ̀ pé ní civilized society wọn kì í nàyàn tẹ́ bá wá bust èèyàn. You will handcuff them. Èyí tó bá fẹ́ ṣe bí kíní ẹ̀tẹ̀ tí a gà sí lójú. Maybe there are some countries, but normally in a civilized society, oh yes, you would arrest people that are criminals, but you don't beat them. Ẹ lọ wo bó ṣe nu àwọn èèyàn. Ó nu àwọn èèyàn débi pé wọ́n ní tí ìdìbà ti bàjẹ́ tó nídìí ni. And we are here every day. They think that we are fighting them. They think I am against them. Oh, you can't be sitting in UK and be lambasting Nigeria. Hey, pẹ̀lẹ́, daddy Nigeria. Ọmọ Nigeria. People were studying in that country and they are now telling us that in táwọn rí nígbà yẹn kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ nísìnyí o. Another agenda, you know, maybe let's even agree that there was a pure or good intention for Nigeria to work. But right now, intention and agenda had to change. You too, you normally have agenda. About the low nísìn, ìgbà la máa rí àṣírí who you are. Ìṣòro ò tí lówó ni. Tí wọ́n tẹ́mi náà bá lówó nísìn, á máa gun yàn. Mo gbọ́ tí Prophet Adebanji wọ́n ní èèyàn kan gbé owó kan fáwọn nígbà kan. I'm sure some of you listen to it as well. Wọ́n náà wọ́n tẹ̀ rántí Ọlọ́run mọ́. Ibi tówó yẹn wà lẹ̀mí àwọn wà lójoojúmọ́. You know Prophet Adebanji? You know him now. He said somebody gave him some large amount of money. Ó ti pẹ́ díẹ̀ o. Wọ́n wá ní ẹ̀mí àwọn ibi táwọn gbówó yẹn sí ló wà àti ṣàdúrà gan wá difficult ó nílé concentrate. So while we are here shouting, kò ń ṣe pé mo níṣẹ́, I'm a family man, but we are very worried and concerned. Look, mo ti bash wo kọ́ọ̀pù tí mo fi mu apple juice òun ni mo ti jẹun ikùn mi le díẹ̀ mo dúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ló ṣe rí fún wọn náà níjọba Tinubu? Tó bá ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀ then don't worry. But kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ for millions of our people. That is why I am worried. Because our people are saying to me that Mr. Koiki ebi ń pa wá, tomato ti wọ́n, atarodo ti wọ́n. And this is the concern of Baba Akintoye and Oloye Igboho as well. Ẹlòmíràn rò pé òun náà fi di influencer. Influencer. Miracle kan máa ṣẹlẹ̀, owó kan kọ̀ wọlé gbàm. Òun náà kọ̀ jámẹ̀. Wàá jáàmù Davido. Bí Zazu. No, not everybody should be Davido or Zazu, but everybody should have access to the basic things of life. I love both of them. I was watching them having great time in America. Bó ṣe jẹ́ kẹ́yìn náà máa ní great time nìyẹn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, where you can have access to everything you can think of. Bó ṣe jẹ́ kó rí nìyẹn. Mò ń bọ̀. Hello, boy. How are you? You had a great time? Good. You should also have access to life. And we can then love these, our Yoruba actors, musician, whatever. But don't see them as, I bet, give me 2,000 naira. And if you're lucky, if you connect with them, there's no problem. So let's go further. Baba Akintoye studied at University of South Florida, Tampa, Florida, Montgomery County Community College. He also studied at what they call the Eastern University, St. David, Pennsylvania. Then Professor Akintoye has written 4 books, chapters in many joint books, and several articles in scholar journals. He took a leading part for some time in the politics of Nigeria, which is very, very important. Because you too, you want to join politician. Somebody called me earlier and said, not too long, or last week, no fishy politics in Nigeria. When you go 5 million, go 5 million, why not? To buy 5 million a day, on 500 million. Only Bonico theory. When Baba Akintoye joined the politics, right there in Second Republic, as a senator, a young senator, between 1979 and 1983, then he also now saw what many of you never saw until now. You know, many of us are like, this Nigerian politics is a crime scene, is criminal corruption. Baba Akintoye was able to see all that for the period of time he was a senator. Because while they were preparing to make Nigeria a better place as a senator, his colleagues, especially the one from the north, they were looking at him and say, another Yoruba man. Now, you know, we are not here to serve Nigerians. We are here to look after ourselves. And that is exactly what has happened. So you now also want to be part of it. You're just waiting for your own turn by turn. That's why you're supporting them. Because you'll be wondering why people support people that are not in love with you. Lagos Ibadan Expressway. Gbogbo environment yìí gbogbo agbègbè yín, nothing worked and nothing is going to work. But ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá pè election lọ́la nísìn, a ní right òun ni láti vote. mo mọ bí tó ti rí right. A ní Koiki right mi ni o. Don't disturb me. It is my fundamental right to vote. The right that doesn't go to more than your house. Because after you have voted, what is the outcome? I'm just asking. Many of you, some people are just waiting for like Koiki, because a miracle is just going to happen and it will transform Nigeria. How? From where to where? From where? Because Akintoye, according to what we know, it took a leading part for some time in the politics of Nigeria. He served on the Nigerian Senate from 1979 to 1983 during the Second Republic. But do you know that he's regretting that he even served because it was a waste of time? That is why we are saying to President Bola Tinubu, you will serve your tenure with good health. Nothing is going to happen to you. But it is not going to change anything in the lives of millions of Yoruba people if we are still in Nigeria. If you pull us out, oh yes, it will be better. But if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu complete his tenure in the next years, which is just around the corner, 1 year ti lọ, Ọlọ́run á fún gbogbo wa lẹ́mìí gúngún, á fún wa lálàáfíà, we will be here. But in tó kàn ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé a gbọ́dọ̀ wá jókòó tatarata ká wá sọ pé nítorí pé Tinubu ti wà lórí oyè, ká wá ní kò sí tó kàn wá mọ́. Yoruba nation kó lọ máa sùn. Yoruba nation kó wà on standstill now. We can't. We should be here to remind millions of you that are still in denial, that are still living in that illusion that Tinubu will make us proud. Time will tell, and history will remember every one of us. If he change and give us Yoruba nation, in time, praise the Lama. But for now, I'm sorry. We can only ask him and he can deny it, which is exactly what we are doing. The WhatsApp number is +44 7594050979. If you go on my website, you will find my WhatsApp. My number is in the public domain. It's not hidden. Akintoye currently lives in Cotonou in Benin Republic. Professor Akintoye is one of the country's leading scholars on the history of Yoruba people. Kò sẹ́ni tó mọ history bí bàbá yẹn. And that is the man that many Yoruba people disagree with because he doesn't look like one of them, like the criminal politicians. He's not somebody that can corrupt or be corrupted, even though he was tainted with all kinds of names, branded with everything. But you can't still bring him down. One of his most recent work, History of the Yoruba People, draws on decades of new findings and thinking on the Yoruba studies that challenges some previous dominant notions about the origins of the Yoruba. Àwọn kan ní ẹ Yaraba, Yoruba, kìíní kan ni wá, Hausa ló fún wa lórúkọ. Báwo ni ebi inú bí apá lọ ló gbọ́n yẹn? Have you listened to the truth of what Baba Akintoye have said about it? Or that one weighing at the seat from the beer parlor, Legbe Gota, Nino restaurant. Some of you have not even read that history that this man started drafting as far back as 1979. Some of you were not been born. And those that have been born that should support the movement, they are laying back. Wọ́n ní kò sí tó kàn wọ́n. Long live Baba Adebanji Akintoye, so as long live Chief Sunday Igboho, and long live Orílẹ̀-èdè Yoruba. Is a man that we should be proud of in our own era. Because era oríṣiríṣi ló máa wà. Era kan là ń bá lọ yìí. We pray that we will all have the long life to finish our own journey, because journey yẹn máa end. When, how soon is when nobody knows. But when your own get close, it will just say bang, and that will be the end. But we pray for long life. So Baba Akintoye is well concerned about each of our own journeys. You think he's concerned about his journey at 89? Èèyàn ti pé 89 nínú ilé ayé yìí. Do you know what that means? Ó ti lò 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Títí dé 89 years. So the journey to think about now is no longer his own journey. It's more about me and you. It's more about us than him. And I hope that many of us that are still sitting behind the fence, that are still thinking that we're going to challenge him, don't challenge him. Because Baba yẹn ti lo life tiẹ̀. Àwa ni life tiwa ló wà worried about. Baba Akintoye is more worried about our own lives than his own. For the period of time I was able to engage with him during my Mokia sister mi Arewa, and I love the work Tenimari Gbilyelowo and the rest of you as well. Please follow her on the X, especially like I always say, and I'm not here all the time to defend the Igbos. If they attack us, we will attack them back. If they disrespect us, we will disrespect them. But I can always say to you, Simon Ekpa will not disrespect us. But there are some crazy ones that will disrespect us, especially when they call out Igboho as if Igboho is their father. As if Igboho is the one that kept Nnamdi Kanu in the prison, that kidnapped him. Or as if Igboho was not almost going to be killed by the same people that kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu. So Kosibishele might defend our Igbo on self-determination. I am not talking about the people that are supporting Peter Obi or those that wants to keep Nigeria, us as the Yorubas. But we are a proud Yoruba first before anything. Please support my sister Arewa Akintoye on the X. Follow her so that when they post things, we can push the narrative out quickly. Because there are some people that have agenda that want to destroy our own culture right inside our territory, whether they are Igbos, Hausa, Fulani, Lebanese. We will defend that territory against them. But Baba Akintoye is the main pointer of this program today. I don't know why I've decided to pick it on it. Maybe because I saw what my sister Akintoye posted, or maybe because my spirit just goes to say, Let me talk about Akintoye. We tend to talk about Igboho all the time, but we don't talk about Akintoye. But tẹ́ bá lọ gbọ́rọ̀ tí Igboho sọ lánàá, ó correct àwọn ọmọ yẹn. Because when they called Igboho, they were hailing him. Igboho said, no, that is wrong. Bàbá tó kó gbogbo wa yìí, hail bàbá yìí now. Because if Baba Akintoye has kept muted like all the others, elderly, age group or non-age group like himself, I would not be here talking about Yoruba Nation. Because I will not know about it, but I will be condemning Nigeria in my own little space, and I'll be eating KFC, McDonald's, and my little life here. But I will not be as focused in the... Do you know that in my last 3 years, I've not done anything more than Yoruba Nation as a full-time? And I've never regretted it. Because for a man that I've lived in UK for 24 years, serving the Yoruba people in 3 years, I've not even done up to what I've done in the UK. I've not even done what I have done for the Nigerian community in my 10 years plus of my services to them that they cannot deny. So when some of you don't understand that, Baba Akintoye la gbọ́ wọ̀n ohun Baba Akintoye la gbọ́ ní 2019. When somebody like Tajuddin Rahim, that idiot guy, come and say, ohun lòun gbé mi wá sí ní Yorùbá ni, ohun Baba Akintoye lè mi gbọ́. But already we were very bitter and angry about Nigeria. It's just that my Facebook of 2007 that I opened, and I didn't download all my videos as I was doing it then. But right now, I don't joke with all my content on videos. As soon as I finish, I download it and I save them. Because that will be something that I will be using in the near future to do many things out of it. Yes, I will make money out of it. Even money, I can sell it, or I can keep the original and sell percentage of it. But what we are saying is that Kinyi Baba Akintoye to. And I picked something from my sister, Arewa Akikanju Omoluabi. I'll be sharing her Twitter handle. Please follow her. And many of them like that are doing great. So Baba Akintoye can celebrate Lenny. We are not celebrating him for anything, but for the fact that he came out. And that is the Twitter handle of Akikanju, for those of you that wants to follow him out, rather. Baba Akintoye came out at a very, very important time. Some even say that he was working for Tinubu. So you want Baba, like somebody asked me during the broadcast this morning, do I hate Tinubu? I didn't have to think about it. Why should I hate Tinubu? I might disagree with him. I might not be happy that he has decided to push himself for the presidency. But some say that Koiki, ọ̀nà àti jẹ́ kí Yorùbá náà lè lọ ní Tinubu fi débẹ̀. And when Tinubu is there, it might make things easy for us. I pray and I hope so, but I am not convinced that much. But what I can say to us is that Arewa Akikanju, my sister, posted something. Please, please, please don't ever compare Akintoye with Dupe Onitiri, that criminal, evil woman that infiltrated us with all her gangs. This is what she posted some few hours ago. She said, and I quote, Lombo, where is it again now? All right, I can't find it. Let me go back to my page because... Okay, I found it. I think she was responding to somebody. You okay, boy? Why are you squeeze in the like, you know what? You know those animals that stock food in their mouth? Squirrel. Are you a squirrel? You put all the food in your mouth. Cheeky monkey. How are you? I love you. She said, and I quote, "You are very funny. I am responding because of the screenshot. If not, I just ignore ignorance. All I will say is at least look before you leap. You think any sane Yoruba is in support of that kindergarten act performed by Onitiri, and that is something that I didn't even think about. Kindergarten act. We Yorubas are diplomatic people. That is why we have not burnt down anywhere. We have not killed anybody. Some people expect Koiki to have done that. Boboy àti Nicola máa pa àwọn èèyàn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Bó ti gbàgbé pé ọmọ Yorùbá tó lọ́pọlọ ni wá. We are very, very intelligent people. Happy Sunday to you all. Because we have a leader that is guiding us, that knows that we should go in a direction that nobody will take us on serious. So we Yorubas are diplomatic people. Our forefathers, and this is not me, this is Arewa Akintoye Omoluabi at Leo Queen on Twitter, known as X. We Yorubas are diplomatic people. Our forefathers has long gone dropped arms to fight. Self-determination is our right as people. We were great people before the company Nigeria happened to us, and we shall have back our sovereignty to get us back on track. If you hate that, that is on you. Bó ṣe rí nìyẹn. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, o hate yẹn. Ìyẹn ò ní ní ká má sọ pé ọmọ Yorùbá kọ́ nìyẹn. But that is on you. Ọmọ Igbo nìyẹn, kí ni kàn wá pẹ̀lú ìran kan náà ni wá ni. Ọmọ Hausa nìyẹn, kì í ṣe ìran kan náà. We are not the same. And that is a brilliant one from these, my beautiful sister, Arewa Akintoye Omoluabi. And we have many of them like that with all our mothers. So when we are talking about Yoruba nation, we are doing it in accordance to how Professor Akintoye wants it to go. And as we were listening to both our fathers, because Igbo is also our father, a lot of you have seen the video. These powerful men that we are now seeing as because I met Baba Adebanji when I was in Nigeria in 2021. Not one, not twice, even at his private residency in Ijebu Igbo. But the only problem is Onodebe, very bad road. But he said to me, Koiki, Yoruba nation là ń ṣe. Mo ní ọ̀kan náà ti pè mí bẹ́ẹ̀ nísìnyí pé Koiki ó ṣe program kan. But I want to have a conversation clearly before I make that announcement. Because ọmọlúwàbí ni wá. Tẹ́ bá ní Yoruba nation lẹ́ ń ṣe, ẹ jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé Yoruba nation lẹ́ ń ṣe. Because ara ń kan wá, inú ń bí wa. Ara ń ta wá. My children are here. You can hear their sound at the background. Why should your own children not have the same opportunity like mine? And don't ask me, oh, come back home. No, my mom ran out of Nigeria. I told you that this morning. I don't have to go into all the details. Hello, program tí mo ṣe láàárọ̀. Mom sí mi mọ̀ pé kí n lè ní future tí bá máa bímọ ló ṣe gbé mi kúrò Nigeria ní 24 years ago. So don't now come and tell me, come back to Nigeria so that we can fight it together. No, Ṣòwòrẹ́ ṣì wà Nigeria. Òun ayé ẹ lé ẹ lọ máa bá Ṣòwòrẹ́ kẹjọ máa ṣe. Don't tell me to come back home. And I'll come back home at the appropriate time. When you call them for me, come back home. Let us fight it together. It's because around in the UK. That's why some of you are very hungry. You are not angry because they were donating money to the Yoruba nation that some of you thought Yoruba nation. It's because ara tó dẹ̀ ń ta yín yẹn problem tèmi kọ́ nìyẹn problem ti ẹ̀yin àti family yín nìyẹn because your parents should have found out that Nigeria is not going anywhere. lóòótọ́ mọ̀mísí mi lè máa gbọ́ Yorùbá nation nígbà tó ń sá kúrò Nàìjíríà, èmi lè máa gbọ́ Yorùbá nation nígbà tí èmi náà ń sá kúrò. But now that we are hearing Yorùbá nation from a true leader, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, why are we now, oh, Igboho kàwé, Igboho kò ní làákàyè, kò lè sọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa, kò lè, ó ti lè sọ̀rọ̀ oríṣiríṣi. But the true picture is that the point is that Nigeria ṣiṣẹ́ ìyẹn ni ká dìmú. Wọ́ọ̀dì yẹn mú mọ́ o, oríṣiríṣi kábàkábà kóbókóbó. So ara tó ń ta yẹn mi kọ́ lè, look, nígbà tí mo dé ìlú in 1998, I saw my elder sister that came before me. I was shocked kí she rí Timberland tó wọ̀ kúrò Nàìjíríà ó sì wà lẹ́sẹ̀, because I was expecting for her to have a new one. Ó ní ìṣòro ìṣẹ̀dé ní ó fẹ́ tó yẹ. And truly ó yé mi lóòótọ́. Because I now realize that my mom was sacrificing a lot for us to sustain ourselves in Nigeria. Because gbogbo time tẹ́mi ṣọmọ lọ́lá, and today, and I'll be going into Mr. Biggs, which is the next discussion about how Nigeria has destroyed everything that many of us hope will be better for us in. Because Mr. Biggs is just like McDonald's, equivalent. Èmi jẹ́ dáadáa nígbà tí mo wà Nàìjíríà. Mo like it gan, meat pie wọn, mo tẹ̀ like sausage wọn. Tó bá gbé sẹ́nu báyìí, ó máa dùn yànmùyàn. But kí ló dé tí kò sí Mr. Biggs bí ti tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́? I don't know. Ṣé Mr. Biggs ṣì wà Nàìjíríà ṣá? Ó ti di yánpanyànpan yánponyánpon. Because nígbà tẹ́ lọ gbé, a máa lọ síbẹ̀ nísìn, because I read something on the trend about it. But mo fẹ́ complete lórí that section that many of you are now seeing, some of us that were abroad. Ṣé bí bàbá Èkìtì wà Nàìjíríà tó ń pariwo Yorùbá nation? Kí ló dé tẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣe máa tara pé bàbá Èkìtì wà Nàìjíríà? Yes, some of us traveled. Láàrin méjì, we heard about Yoruba nation and we picked on it. Okay, Ocean exists, okay. But I'm sure the brand is going down, and I'll tell you why, on the trend that I read. And not just the trend, family friend wa kan mo ní sọ bí tóun ti ní tiẹ̀ to manage just for security purpose. Nígbà tí mo ń bá olórí ẹbí sọ̀rọ̀, I can tell you that lára àwọn tó manage ẹyọ kan tó jẹ́ ti Mr. Biggs, ó ti ṣe kí ni? Ó ti jápa. Ó ti ṣe kí ni? Ó ti jápa. But à ń bọ̀ lórí Mr. Biggs. Triple DRS sọ pé mo take on back to memory lane. So what we are just trying to say is that we love and appreciate Professor Adebanji Akintoye, just as we love and appreciate all our parents. Am I can't blame our parents wa? Am I can't blame our parents wa? Thought that Nigeria have a future, and that is what they sold to us. But every mom city, me mom put Nigeria on the future. How she knew that, I don't know. How she prepared for that, I don't know. Bí èmi náà bá wà Nigeria ní sí, màá kọ́ máa wọ ẹni tó wà nílùú òyìnbó as God, meaning God. And I told you, ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó ń ràn lára tèmi ní bíbá náà ló ń ràn lára tiẹ̀. Ìyàtọ̀ kan ni pé we are in a system that is cold, and we are having a bit of, okay, ni màá sọ. Àwọn tó ń fún wa lówó, tẹ̀ ń rọ̀pọ̀ fún wa lówó yẹn, wọ́n squeeze ẹ̀ jáde ni. Nítorí pé a ti invest too much in Nigeria. We have pumped a lot of money in Nigeria. I spoke with olórí ẹbí wa, gbogbo ilẹ̀ mọ olórí ẹbí wa látà. Ṣé mọ̀ pé wọ́n pè síbi iṣẹ́ lénìí? Mo ní kí ló tún lọ ṣe níbi iṣẹ́? Ó náà fi lọ ṣe fundraising. Mo ní ṣé máa increase salary ẹ̀ ṣá. And we spoke while he was driving for about 38 minutes. Nigeria has done bad to many of us. Some people are still, yes?
Are you finished?
Yes, almost finished.
What time are you finished?
Maybe 1 more hour. Okay? I love you. So let's dive a little bit into something I read about Mr. Biggs. And this is coming from at Trending EX, posted about 15 hours ago. Mr. Biggs, the X meat pie, the X 2000. It's just this is how it all goes. You would agree, and let me bring the background and change that Mr. Biggs so that we can see it later on. When I post the other video, you will see it with the, because I told a laptop, you can only see it now. Okay, whoever is calling, we can't pick calls now because we are in a live transmission. Happy Sunday to every single one of us, and whether they like it or not, we shall be free from the bondage and the evil of what Nigeria has done to us. I'm told that, yes, but they sold the franchise. And if I am correct, Mr. Biggs was owned by UAC. Universal, can you me in UAC, you know? Can somebody please help me out? I can Google it, but if somebody can help me out, UAC, what is the full meaning? I know that we have this Leventis, we have all these things, but let's go into it a little bit. Mr. Biggs, you would agree that there was a time Mr. Biggs was the biggest food brand in Nigeria. Most people believe they crashed because they got lazy. But that is not what happened. Then what actually happened? Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Mr. Biggs? And I'm not here to be look, the reason why I give you my own true story background, I don't want to be saying, oh, somebody. Monique, I could not continue my university degree. I pull out because I was told to pay international fee. And I see Nigerians today paying international fee. I'm wondering how? I that live here, my parent is here, at least one of my parents, my sisters are here, but I couldn't afford it. So how some of you were able to say you want to afford it? It's because you thought that when you come here, you would, okay, United African Company. So USC is known as United African Company. So how some of you now think that coming to study here, Eshegoni, Keke Cruise and Triple DRS? I am talking about as far back as 2000, if I'm right. Because I came here in 1998. I've been here for a long time. I've been here before most of you start thinking that, no, I've been here. And I said, why my mom traveled out of Nigeria prior before me is what I don't know. But I realized that when I came here, it was a different thing entirely. What I met here was not my expectation. But that's another story for another day. That is why I'm doing some, what I call, on my one new YouTube channel called Koikimedia TV, my 24 years in UK. I'm talking about my experience, what I've gone through to have lived here for that period of time. But ẹ̀gbọ́n mi wọ̀ kúrò Nigeria a year after mo ba lẹ́sẹ̀ nígbà tí mo dé ìlú yìí, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. But what I was surprised was that at Gatwick Airport, they bought McDonald's and I was expecting us to get home to eat it, and everybody was eating their own. One of them, London boy, you know, you're McDonald's. Even that was doing very well, you know, on the Western Union. Western Union doesn't come to Nigeria anymore now. That is the country that you want to revive. Let's dive into Mr. Biggs. How many people know Mr. Biggs? In your mail alone, Mr. Biggs. And how many of you were able to have their meat pie or their sausage? Oh, mulaki scotch egg. Let's read a little bit. Just like the Nigerian Airways or the Nigerian Air by the criminal Buhari and his gangs. You can see why we must appreciate Baba Akintoye in this generation. Not that they are appreciate our Baba kankan no, but Baba tó gbéra síta, tó gbéra síwájú wa, oh my God, wọ́n pe bàbá yẹn lóríṣiríṣi orúkọ. Wọ́n ní alágbára ló ń jẹ́ Mr. Biggs ní Naija nísìn. All right, let's read through. Mr. Biggs was founded in 1973. They dominated the market from 1980s till early 2000s. But even then, Mr. Biggs with the S, was already on his way down before somebody saying mismanagement. ẹ ti ń jíwèé wò ẹ ti lọ jíwèé wò Mr. Olúwafẹ́mi Sadiq ẹ jẹ́ kí n débẹ̀ mo fẹ́ gbé yín débẹ̀ ni. There is so much mismanagement that is why our education system was destroyed by the northern military. They took everything that Baba Awolowo prepared for the future of the Yoruba people and they couldn't manage it. Ẹ lọ wo Adamasingba Stadium, ẹ máa sunkún fún Yorùbá ni. But what the hell is this? Ẹ lọ wo National Stadium ní Surulere, ẹ máa sunkún ni. Kí ló ń ṣe wá náà? No, don't get angry with me. Take my words. Èyí tó bá fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, put it in the bin. Èyí tó bá wúlò bẹ́ẹ̀, take it. And like somebody said this morning, Koiki, o ti temper there. We're happy for that because we want you to temper and get the message to the people. Somebody was even telling me, Koiki, you need to go back to TikTok. I'll think about it. I know my capacity. Mo ti ṣe 2 hours láàárọ̀, mo ti bá tún parí eléyìí, mo tún lè padà wá ní another 4 hours. Mo mọ star mi. Mo mọ̀ pé sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀ ni mí. Bí àṣà ìyàwó mi á ní ajágbe mọ́ kinní kan. À ń rò lórí ẹ̀ lóòótọ́, but wọ́n ní ẹlẹ́dẹ̀ á pariwo àdélẹ̀ lérí yẹn bí Ìgbòho ṣe sọ lánàá. Ó ní ojú ló ń kán ìbòjì, òun ń bọ̀ níbẹ̀. Yorùbá nation tẹ́ni kò ní wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Ọ̀la ló máa dé, ọ̀túnla ni, next year ni, ọdún méjì ni, ó ń bọ̀. Wallahi ta'ala sumobillah ilazilahua. Àwa kàn nígbà ní fún yín. Àwa sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn world media lábẹ́ ìyá wa Dr. Zabi, Alájà Quinara, Alájà Eleha, Afa Akim, Ọmọlúkà, Mass B, Òṣàtọ́lá, Òṣànlá, Yèyé Dára Kòkòkòkòkòwé. Oh, my beautiful sister to Canada, tó ń dán láwọ̀, the Mọ́rẹ̀mí of our time, Lady K, Ìbíyẹmí, Bíọ́dún Chapel, brother mi ọmọ ogun, ọ̀pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀, àdákẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni bá ti ṣe tèmi nísìn tó bá máa fi wọ́ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ sọ́wọ́ sàn, àròlé 10 tó jáde. Ní dákẹ́, ẹ máa gbọ́ tátá tán, àgbọ́ Yorùbá nation mọ́, ò ní data ló ṣe gbọ́ Yorùbá nation mọ́. And that is why we must put our money where it is. Okay, wọ́n ní kò ń ṣe Adamasingba, wọ́n ní Liberty Stadium, ẹ ṣé gan ni for that correction. Bàbá wa Ọ̀nà Adéọlá Fortune, Liberty Stadium. Ní dákẹ́ o. Oh, you can still receive Western Union in Nigeria. Really? I need somebody else to verify that. Because I was told that Western Union does not get to Nigeria anymore. Western Union, can somebody tell me if it is still getting to Nigeria? But Emma, I can't divert. Let me focus back on Mr. Biggs. As I said, it was founded in 1973. Just leave it. They dominated the market in the 80s. But something started happening around 2000 with Mr. Biggs. As Mr. Biggs was already on his way down, even before his competitors like The Place, the Chicken Republic, TFC, and the new one coming, KFC, even arrived. So, Western Union was in Nigeria. Western Union lọ Nigeria mọ́. Àwọn ọmọ tó ń ṣe yahoo yahoo yẹn ti bàjẹ́. Wọ́n ti fi wọ́ owó burúkú. Western Union. It's more money. Western Union is not going to Nigeria anymore. But anyway, let's go further. So the real problem started when Mr. Biggs decided to operate and create a business model that will let them walk through representatives. There's nothing wrong in that. But the problem is that there is a system that we will have to have a lot of orientation. Lọ́jọ́ iwájú tá bá ti gba ilẹ̀ wa. And that is what Baba Akintoye said in one of the content here that we are going. I think that is number 5. Tabati Pari Wiki, the upper week. Wiki, listen, these one are very small, but I don't want to push it like three days. So actually, machine 1 week. So, but number 5, our youth development program will transform our nation. We don't want people that we can do business with and they fraud us and because they are thinking that that is what is happening in Nigeria. The civil servant, the civil service, everywhere, everybody wants, immigration, police, navy, every sector in Nigeria is a crime scene. EFCC only àwọn ọmọ kékèké. Yaya Bello wà ńbẹ̀ ní sí àgbọn kankan mọ́. Where is Yaya Bello? Bẹ́ẹ̀ni pẹ̀lú Bàbá Èkìtì. Àwọn tá bá dárúkọ, everybody knows all the medias that are working back to back. So let's go back. So Mr. Biggs, wọ́n ní before the arrival of their competitor ni ó ti kú, mo ti sáré jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. So their collapse was completely not because of competition. It is actually what some will call business suicide. Ẹ má bínú pé mo ti dárúkọ yín láti kí yín, but we will do that towards the end of the program. Ká lè jẹ́ kí message yẹn kó penetrate. So the business model, Mr. Biggs, kò ń ṣe torí àwọn competitors wọn tó dé. Ṣèbí Tesco ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní bíbáyìí, Asda rẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́. Èmi nísìn máa wo géè tí n bá lè rà ní Asda, máa lọ rà ní Lidl. Ìtì bá fi pé Tesco ń ṣọ́fà, ìyẹn ni máa ní kíyàwó mi lọ. Àwọn obìnrin tẹ̀ mọ́bi tó máa ń lọ. Ìyàwó mi ò mind, ó lè wọ bọ́ọ̀sì lọ sí Morrison. Èmi á dẹ̀ máa wò pé jẹ́ àrà ní Asda mi. Actually wàhálà lọ sí Morrison, a lọ ra ti Morrison because àwọn ti ní oríṣiríṣi apps tó máa fi mọ́bi tí discount wà. Lord Greg's ní ìjọ Friday. Sometimes I do treat for my children. Bí ṣe sọ fún yàwó mi pé mo wà nù Greg's. Ó ní no, máa ti kúrò níbẹ̀ o, bá mi gba point. Because all our mothers knows how this thing works. Well, but can you come pẹ̀lú point? So the model plan, and when we say support Koikimedia, it is voluntary. Èmi ni mo ní kó máa bá mi post account details because it's important. Look, video tá a ṣe lánàá, 6,000 people watching, but ààrẹ ni fún wa lówó. But it's okay. At least 6,000. Lórí platform kan, èyí tí mo ṣe lánàá. Lórí the other platform, 3.5k view. Not Facebook, just the YouTube. Anyway, gbọ́ message yẹn. Ó máa dé ibi tó yẹ kó máa ti gbọ́. But ẹ máa dáwó sínú ọ̀rànmíyàn mẹ́wàá, the YSDM. But that does not mean you should not support the brand known as Koikimedia so that we can do more. So the collapse of Mr. Biggs was not because of his competition. It was because the real problem started when Mr. Biggs decided to operate and create a business model tó máa sọ wọ́n dolówó, tó máa sọ mí dolówó, tá máa sọ pé bí franchise. That is where the problem started. KFC is a franchise business. McDonald's is a franchise business. You will not run the McDonald's in Peckham differently from the McDonald's in Sheffield. It has to be the same taste. It has to be the same standard. It has to be the same operation operandum. Àbíbá lọ́jọ́ máa sọ òyìnbó yẹn máa kí n tàbọn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi triple dr mọ̀ pé yín kàwé dáadáa. But something started going down. Just like Nigeria going down is the same way Mr. Biggs went down. Just like Nigerian Air. Many of our mothers, our fathers, my mom was traveling with the Nigerian Airways back in the 80s. Just like it went bampum, they were issuing tickets to their girlfriends, to their slaves, to everybody. And eventually the airline collapsed. That is why that pastor traveled to Cairo and he was almost going to be in trouble. Mr. Biggs decided to operate and create a business model that will let them work through representative, making them the first Nigerian brand to sell franchise investor. It was a huge deal at the time, but it was a wrong thing because it was not in a system that is going to work. Many people, like I said, up to somebody that is close to us, Oti Jakpa, Owa in the UK, it was one time holding a franchise of McDonald's. Oti Jakpa. Elion Shekwe family one Oti one UK by lati last year. Oti Jakpa pẹ̀lú In fact, they believe. In fact, they believe they struck gold and diamond because people were buying the franchise from them, because this was about to make them the next. I'm not going to mention the name of this church. It will be like Koiki. It's like I'm attacking the church, but the name of a church was linked with that, and I'm not going to mention that. So I'm just going to omit that, okay? You will start to see Mr. Biggs on almost every street. Yes, that was their plan. This meant giving random investors total permission to use the name Mr. Biggs to open outlets and sell food across the country. There was nothing wrong in that. But what happened is that it was in the wrong country that doesn't value or have respect for businesses and have respect for itself. For example, it is the same thing with the Nigerian Idol. Nigerian Idol. But do you know that the American Idol, which is the original franchise, so it is not like the owners of the American Idol are the ones organizing the Nigerian Idol. So yes? Okay. But the Nigerian Idol is only controlled, managed by the management team of the Nigerian Idol. America will manage it. So the standard will not be the same. The quality is clearly different. If you watch the Nigerian Idol and the American Idol, you will understand what I'm talking about. So now that you understand franchising, franchise is a good business. If you have the money. In Tiwani Dino Sheniye, Dino has a couple of franchise. But the question is, Nibolo ti raise a. So when you see him, don't test in you, for constituency project, because constituency project is a big money, especially when you are there for 4 years. To buy invest 50 million, sita, Nigeria, conversion of whatever that is. But see, these people were dealing with billions of naira. So imagine investing in whatever franchise around the world. Return they be pay. That's why you can see them, and imagine if that one becomes the governor. Clement, my own, welcome to the program. Hello, sir. Is there Mr. Biggs in the UK? No, McDonald's. I'm referring to the Mr. Biggs in Nigeria right now. So we are giving background to how the Mr. Biggs went down as a suicide. And thank you so much for your birthday gift to me. Thank you so much. Even though I've sent you an email, I appreciate it so much. And it means a lot to me, and many of you like that. So let's go further. Now that many of you understand what it means as a franchise, but something went wrong. Mr. Biggs is owned by UAC, called the United African Company. So top guys, when they say top guys, those people say we be big boys in Nigeria. Okay, what do big boys do? They start giving the top guys at the United Africa Company, known as the UAC, began giving out the Mr. Biggs franchise to their wives, side chicks, nephews, friends, etc. What do you think is going to happen in the next couple of years? It might not happen straight away, which is what we are saying to Nigerians. The problem of Nigeria that has been going on, and you are trying to think that it will be reversed, it will get better. How? Onawolo Magba. For it to get better, rather than get better, it is getting worse. And it is getting worse on a daily basis, that it is now affecting human beings, not animals, like the North classify cow as the citizen. And I say that if the Northerners are saying that cows are citizens, every animals in Yoruba land are also citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's a simple fact. They are citizens. Àwa náà àtàdìyẹ, àti ewúrẹ́, àti squirrel, àtàlàǹgbà, gbogbo animal tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yoruba land lẹ́ni ní Southwest are also citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are almost 2 hours to the program. Again, it went further. They were giving all these franchise to people that cannot manage it, just as we saw the Nigerian Airways collapse, without ensuring that these people were adequately qualified to run the business. Is that not the same problem we're existing today? Oh, Koiki is about leadership. No, I don't want to deal with any more leadership problem. I want us to pull out as Yoruba people and deal with those that might be our leadership problem. Come on, Tamashi Funrawa. Mufesoro kontele ni mutu gbe pada sẹ́yìn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ìyá mi Adébímpé Awóníyì, gbogbo animal, gbogbo ẹranko tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, they are also citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If the North are telling us that their cows are citizens. You're watching a live transmission of Jokeson Shukefa, Odu 2024. Same time we are in Nigeria at 14:35. It's just 24 hours clock. It means 2:35 p.m. So, without ensuring that these people were adequately qualified to run the business, he also mentioned something that I don't want to talk about here because it might upset certain part of the religion. So I'm going to boycott that. So what happened next was inevitable. And I'm going to tell you the full meaning of that word, inevitable, spelled as I-N-E-V-I-T-A-B-L-E. In the UK, we will say Indigo, November, Echo, Victor, India, Tango, Alpha, Bravo, Lima, Echo. What is the full meaning of that word? In the next 1 minute, the Mix LR will go live. For those of you that have been waiting patiently, there's some few things that we're working on that Mix LR, and that is why, when we go live, it doesn't sometimes synchronize with the broadcast as it used to be. But in the next 1 minute, I will turn it on. So the word inevitable. 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 What do you think is the meaning? Certain to happen, unavoidable. A situation that is unavoidable. So, as the writer says here, what happened next was unavoidable. Something that was going to happen. Oh, Nigeria is going to work. How? Baba Akintoye already told us that Nigeria is no longer working and it is not going to work. And I can confirm now that the Mix LR is live. If you want to join that and listen from there, it's an audio version. So what happened next was inevitable. The brand delusion and a retarded standard. And the moment you lose standard, the moment you start losing that standard, everybody will go away. The standard of Nigeria is not the Nigeria that some people knew, probably at the independence. So for those of you saying that we should move back to that standard, we should be given restructure, we should have a regional government, that should be happening. But it is not happening because no evidence base is that we are having that now, even after 1 year office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So things started going AY with Mr. Biggs. Because they became unable to uphold the reputation of excellency that made people to love them, Mr. Biggs, meaning the Mr. Biggs in Maryland will have a completely different menu from the one at Ogudu, 3 kilometers away. In fact, some Mr. Biggs were even selling amala. Well, one time amala, one rotita, meat pie, ati sausage, ati whatever should have been the brand of Mr. Biggs. They abandoned the Mr. Biggs purpose and they were selling amala and begiri, just like the corrupt shithole country you call Nigeria. Nigeria forgot to invest in education to its people. And the people today are all out there looking for the diaspora to come and do what? Koikimedia. How? because they became unable to uphold the reputation of excellency. Mr. Biggs tó wà ní Maryland, ní 3 kilometers away ní Ògùdù, ìyẹn àmàtàmàlà kò rántí ta, kò ta meat pie tó torí ẹ̀ gbé franchise dé fún, kò ta sausage roll, kò ta, you know, that beautiful crunchy Scotch egg, kò ta mọ́, àmàlà ló wá ń tà because ó ti gba branding. Tó bá dẹ̀ máa wá ta, kò ṣe pé wọ́n ta meat pie yẹn o, but ìwọ lọ jẹ meat pie níbẹ̀, wàá yàgbẹ́ ṣòróró ni, ó máa wọn ẹ̀gbẹ́ olómi, ó máa yá, because àwọn tó ṣe meat pie yẹn kò ń ṣe meat pie lọ́fẹ́ tà mọ́, wọ́n mọ̀ pé àwọn bàbá kan tó ń lọ lórí motorway lọ́dọ̀ yín lọ́n ìwà ní motorway náà lẹ́ máa pè é, wọ́n mọ̀ pé àmàlà lọ́ máa ń jẹ, kò sí tó kàn wọ́n pẹ̀lú meat pie. There's nothing wrong to sell the amala, but you keep and maintain the purpose of the Mr. Biggs franchise. That is part of the Nigeria that some of you want me to fix. Their biggest seller, which was meat pie, was wreckage. English dictionary, wrecked. WRECKED. Whiskey Romeo Echo Charlie Kilo Echo Delta. Meaning in tongue pè ní tóyìnbó bá sọ pé taba ní kí ló ń pè ní wrecked, very badly damaged. Very badly damaged. Just look at what you have done to my code. Tó bá gbé ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ sílé, èyí tẹ́ lọ́mọ ọ̀dọ̀, just like the SGF. Akumi, a 70-year-old man, ó náà òun ní driver mẹ́rin, òun ò lè afford láti san 100,000 naira fún wọn every month. So ó expect pé kó jìyà kó fi kú, tó bá wá fi ṣọdún nísìn, á wá fáwọn ìyàwó ẹ̀ ní 5,000. Ó lè gbẹ̀ràn ọdún fún. Ìyẹn náà ní ṣe nagode. Do you understand what that means? Èyí tẹ́ wá láwọn ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ yẹn. Imagine kọ́ ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ wá jó aṣọ. Ó gbé aṣọ fún pé kó bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ó wá jó. Very badly damaged. Wreck. What does just wreck mean? In a state of intoxication, stupor, or euphoria induced by drugs or alcohol, ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ti wà wrecked. Ẹ má bínú, kò ń ṣe pé ohun mi kì í sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, gbogbo wa la mọ̀ pé ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Bàbá Akintoye wá sọ pé no, we can't continue like this. Let's stop it and revive it. Báwa náà ṣe ń lọ ṣe revival. Báwa náà ṣe ń lọ ṣe ẹ̀sìn wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká revive ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Wọ́n ní no, we can do it. Some are even telling me to tell Igboho to go and set up a political party in Nigeria. Ẹ wo bá ṣe ronú. When we should be putting a full stop. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, mo parọ́ mọ́. Ta ló gbọ́ bí tó ti sọ fídíò ẹ̀ wá eléyìí ṣe pé wọ́kọ̀ ó ní I have 4 drivers, ìyẹn Akumi, the SGF secretary to the federal government. 4 drivers, ó náà wọ́n lè 100,000 naira fún wọn every month. Let's go back to the Mr. Biggs. Their biggest seller, which was meat pie, was wrecked. What? That meat pie more. They sold at K2 with taste completely different from the ones sold at my 12. So it is like every outlet had different chefs doing experiment with our taste bud. It is unacceptable. That is what Nigeria has done with the lives of all the 200 million Nigerians. What can you watch the experiment? Be careful. Injection be careful, because Nigeria has been under experiment since the last 110 years of the amalgamation. That experiment expired in 2014. Let us allow this experiment now to go. No, experiment. Let's allow more experiment. So Tinubu came and said, Milokon, what if you experimented? Imagine if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said, she Nigeria mo. Who do you think is going to challenge him? International community? Call us from Nigeria mo. Yoruba nation la fẹ́, Oduduwa Republic. Yoruba kingdom, whatever name. Koda kese sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ flag ele la fẹ́. What do you think will happen? It will create a very bright future straight away. But Tinubu ne mi lọ́kàn. Òun náà fẹ́ experiment. So right now, Tinubu is doing what they call try your luck. They are using forex that we don't have to try to work with the naira. That's what they are doing. Tinubu told us that he has stopped paying subsidy. All of a sudden, we are getting message that about 5.4 trillion naira has been paid again for subsidy. And I'm thinking, how? The lies. Oh, hey, somebody is saying, Mr. Jayolani, Koiki, oh, Shetua Lobai. Mr. Briggs is like a great case study on like Greg's. At least Greg's Timolonijo Friday. I spent about 15 pounds. Imagine Greg's tó wà ní Luton. Kí wọ́n lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn brother mi ní ọ̀dọ̀ Kentos ní Manchester. Kí wọ́n neba mi lọ ra Greg's wá. Kí wọ́n jẹ Greg's yẹn. Kentos, ẹ ṣọ́ ọ̀pọ̀ nǹkan lẹ ṣe Greg's yìí. Koiki kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ mú lọ rà fún ẹni. Imagine you that you have been eating something all the time and you now have the taste and you realize that kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní bíbá. So some of you at home, I am not blaming you. I am just your lecturer. You can disagree with the lecture. You can even abandon the cause, which is the Yoruba nation, because cause is called the self-determination cause. Oh, le sọ pé wọ́n ṣe cause yẹn mọ́ o ti abandon it, o ti swear because I gba country. You can walk away and go with the APC and the PDP. Maybe Atiku will give you a job. Maybe Tinubu will employ you. Cause ni, but this cause is cause 101 self-determination, Yoruba nation, no going back. Only right. That is why it is called social media. It has about 1 billion people on it. Mo wà lórí program o, olórí ẹbí, mo wà lórí live, mo wà lórí program báyìí, mo wà lórí program. All right. Àbọ̀rọ̀ mo yẹ yín nísìn. Àwọn tó kọ̀ wà lórí Twitter ló máa affect àtúmọ̀tán padà ni. Ó dà pọ̀rọ̀ tí mo sọ kò yá àwọn yẹn wa. Do you understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Ẹ má worry nípa òyìnbó pápápá tá ń sọ yìí. Kò mówó wá ní bank. This is why we are saying that something needs to be done. And it needs to be done as quickly as possible. But it has to be in support of everybody. Kò ń ṣe àwa mẹ́wàá lánàá fẹ́ lọ, àwọn 200 náà wọ́n lọ. Some of you, we might drag you into it anyway. We are 2 hours to the program. I will see how far I can go after this. Maybe we open the phone line, we see. So, every chef was doing experiment with the taste board. Everybody. Tinubu is currently doing experiment with Nigeria. Jacob, there's nothing wrong with it. Buhari, that is a Fulani, did a lot of experiments with Osibajo. So let Tinubu and Shetima make their own experiment and we see how far they can take us. So customers had to search elsewhere since Mr. Biggs could no longer provide constant quality experience across all the outlets. And that is the story that we decided to link into the conversation of what is known as Yoruba Nation self-determination under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Should we open? Walk up in Nigeria's experiment. Nigeria was an experiment that expired. Moki olórí ẹbí kábọ̀ sórí ètò. Wọ́n ti donate owó gan. Olórí ẹbí ni wọ́n ti donate owó síbi iṣẹ́ òun rẹpẹtẹ wàláì. Ti yampa. Okay, bí a message yẹn ló pé fún mi lẹ́ǹkan. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ káwa náà rówó tá a ká ráhùn tó máa donate owó sínú Yoruba Nation. I need owó tó pọ̀ gan. They need a lot of money in the movement. They need a lot of money to get the message going. We've done 2 hours already. Should we close it now or should we just, thank you so much everyone that have joined us so far. I think I should just close it. Every single one of you that have joined us, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter whether you disagree with us. Ah, ibi iṣẹ́ olórí ẹbí ò ní kówó yẹn lẹ́ o. Ah, àwọn kẹ̀. Ẹ má yẹ kí tẹ̀sán orúkọ ibi iṣẹ́ yẹn. Clement, have you been confirmed whether Western Union is leaving Nigeria? They've left Nigeria a long time ago. Clement, Western Union is not working in Nigeria. If you send money to Nigeria through Western Union, it's not going to go. Enter our Instagram, we come back in, it's almost ending. Western Union is not in Nigeria anymore. I know that because, it's not even today, it is Tojo Meta that the Western Union stopped. And it's because of all these, fraudsters, they hired money like the Hush Puppy money and all these criminals. They were using Western Union to move money, even though we know that money also from Nigeria being moved to other countries through proxies and all that. But, they're always looking for the scapegoat. So definitely it is not. So, all right. I've done the first 2 hours of where I want to go. So what I might be touching on right now is just floating. It's called floating. So I could pick on anything and we go in line with that. We've appreciated Akintoye for the first hour. We've talked about why Nigeria is also like an experiment, just like Mr. Biggs was an experiment by many individuals. Shegoni, Yawa Woni, and the rest of you that have joined us. Arole Ududua, thank you so much. Jayola Olari Bigbe say Mr. Biggs is a great case study, unlike Greg's in the UK. Mokiawa Risi Ashiru, Eniolon da say wreck for Rishogbon. That is the meaning in Yoruba land. No meat pie for the pie and no pie for the people. Oma Sheo. Many people cannot even enjoy a Sunday afternoon in Mr. Biggs. There are some people who are still having great time in Yoruba land, Nigeria, but it's very, very low in number. Adeni Idaramola, thank you so much. Ali Akim Ali, James, thank you so much. Olawale Taiwo, shout out to you. Daniel Adeyemi, say good journalism, sir. May God bless you, White Lion. Mr. John, thank you so much. Olaniwaju Tayo, thank you for joining. Mrs. Tokpe or Mr. Tokpe, Yoruba Nation, going back. Olakunle, shout out. Ganio Alani, thank you so much. Yawa Adeton Olorun Dami. God will bless United Yoruba Nation in Jesus' name. Amen. Mr. Kunle Shita, Larry Lamina, Babami Benjamin Adumati, Pat J. Iwolumo. I love that one. Mr. Fab, thank you so much. Akinwumi Ogundeji, shout out to you. Tim Jones, thank you so much. Let us continue to look towards our everyday blessing as family man. I've been to Africa. Adeni Yakim, Balogun Olamide, shout out to you. Oluwafemi Sadiq says mismanagement is most of the problem. Yawa Mudukwe Adegunwa, one man standing. Tony Ages, thank you. Shout out to all my backup team. Shout out to Clement, all hail our Biafra brothers, and under the leadership of Mazi Simon Ekwa, the PM. Yemi Fatoki says, Ekusheta Kuntakun. Michael Alake, shout out to you. And along that say, I don't know how people will help you. I don't know how we were amalgamated with this set of people. Well, it was a fraud, and we just have to allow it to go. Mr. Jimmy Koya said, Koiki, you will never lack good things in your life. Amen. Jayola Olaribigbe says, no meat pie, no pie for the people. Moki, simple oil. Thank you so much. And let's shout out to those of you on the Facebook, as I'll be reading. I read it online, said Akume. Yes, Akume is the SGF that says he can't pay 100,000 naira to all his drivers. Pastor John Ajayi says, you have made history, sir. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. Mokibubawan, CAC, Redeem, Kerubu, White Garment. Akingbade Ayo says, Nigeria National Shipping Line also went down. That is another one there. Nigeria National Shipping Line also went down. Tony Eji say, no more Western Union, Jare. Another brother confirmed that from Belgium. Thank you so much. And along they say, God bless Koikimedia and his team. Mr. Lawale Steven, thank you so much. Mrs. Taiwo Kike Fasomi, Idowu Samuel, very few outlets now. Still few outlets of McDonald's, Mr. Biggs, but the quality has gone completely down. Mr. Olamile Konzobo, thank you. Shout out to you. Mr. Adekunle Rahman. Babawa Ono Adiola Fortune says, Yomi is not at Damasigba. It is called Liberty Stadium. Also, okay, somebody requested for my WhatsApp number. It is +44 7495 049 let me get it right. +4475 940500979. Mokiyawa Iyabo Olubumi Oluwole, Yawa brother Mojid Ibrahim, all the Yoruba territories across all the 191 local government without leaving anyone behind. Moki Gbogbo and Konsi. Baba mi son Odo say, well understood. Ifani Mole Aye say, your name will never and ever forgot in the history of Oduduwa. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Moki Gbogbo Awoni Sheshe. Ojudoba is coming. My team has already told me. Yoruba Nimi, shout out to you. Don Kelvin Kopman says, I greet you, our last man standing, to all my brother, sisters, all Arewa, Adewuyi Adeshola, we Yoruba National, Prince Adebayo Shitu, Danilo Yede, Samson Oyawole. If I haven't mentioned your name, I will catch up with it in just about a few minutes. But for now, we just float for probably another 30 minutes, and then I can go and spend some outside with my family there. And then if time permits, if I can make it out again, if otherwise, we will. Mr. Perry, triple DRS, that is the fault of the franchisor because they are supposed to be doing inspection. Bribe money. They will continue to bribe them. Most businesses in Nigeria, we know how these things work. Happy Sunday to every one of us at the 9th day of the month of June 2023. Miss Babami Omitola Kende, thank you so much. Chinedu Okpara said, I wonder where the information about Western Union come from. Maybe you cannot from the UK. I have been using Western Union from the US until the last 2 months, except that is when they stopped. Okay, Chinedu Okpara disagreed that the Western Union still works into Nigeria. So again, I know from UK, you can't send it. But again, Chinedu Okpara says that the Western Union is still sending it. So when you send it, where do they pick the money from? Is it from the bank? Or, well, I guess it has to be from the bank. So can you please confirm that when you send the money from the US, those that you send it to are picking it from the bank? Mr. Paul Clark says, vote for Trump 2024. Well, sorry, I am in UK. There's no way I can vote for Trump. I'll be voting on the July 4th, and I'll decide who to vote for here in UK. Rahim Abbas, thank you so much. Omoluabi Orishe Loada. Cows are citizens. Nigeria indeed is a zoological country. Direct to the bank or pick up. Okay. Ken Williams, I wish you will help your Yoruba people because Yoruba has deceived the entire Southerners and deprived their freedom from Nigeria because of the Yoruba agenda, keeping one Nigeria. Well, that is what we are doing. We are educating as many Yoruba people, and we hope they will listen to us. Yawa Mary Ogunkun Ade, thank you so much. Happy Sunday. Eleni, stop scaring Yoruba people into another fraudulent movement. Well, you're probably new on the platform, but you have the right to that. But we'll probably say this will be the last one you'll be listening to because you will want to talk about Nigeria. Not yet. Yes. Your truck, I'm coming. And on that note, Eshigoni for the super chat. Ben, nice to see you again as well. Akim Salami, thank you so much. Good afternoon. And as I leave you very soon, Farami Electronics, UK. Yeah. They're taking their truck. Truck Molosita. Triple RS, shout out to you once again. And on that note, I will be saying Silver Badmos, this is how far we go this afternoon. But be rest assured, Baba mi Ade Oshun Timothy, thank you, Jesus. To all our Yoruba teams that are working, allow Baba Eshegonema Binukpokwe Kato start the Mix LR. Mr. Perez, when I want to pick up dollar on my account on Thursday, I was told Western Union server was down, meaning Western Union is still active in Nigeria. Thank you so much. It's good that I know that. Then that means that maybe Tinubu has spoken to them and it is back again. Thank you so much for everyone, because this is not a platform that we give information that cannot be verified. So it seems that Western Union is active in Nigeria. Simple Rahim, you can watch it back again. That is the beauty about the technology. You've been waiting for me. Well, this is my second program, and it's like one I've done in the morning. This is the next one, but I have to go now so that I can do other things. And I'm sure there'll be more programs from other media platforms discussing and talking about Nigeria as it stands. Well, those of you that doesn't agree with the movement, one day you would appreciate exactly why we say Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. And on that note, happy Sunday. Enjoy the rest of the week. If I'm not back out today, probably maybe we'll be back again tomorrow. From next week, which is tomorrow, the topic that we'll be discussing will be our youth development program will transform our nation. Good news, path to prosperity in our orílẹ̀-èdè Yoruba by Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Yoruba nation, there's nobody that can stop it. Biafra nation, there's no way you can stop it. Arewa nation, Ijo nation, Nigeria will expire. It's just about when it's going to come down finally. Yoruba nation for life. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, forílẹ̀ ìbí wa, kàgbéga, kàgbéga, kàgbéga fàlẹ́rí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé bàtí bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọlá. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní kẹjẹ́ ká máa lépa ìtẹ̀síwájú fọ́pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ, ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Shout out to all our listeners on the Twitter space. My sister Arewa, Real Yoruba, thank you so much. And as many of you, and I think I should follow some of you as well. Real Yoruba, let me follow you back so that you know that I'm in love with you. I follow you back as well, Michelle. I'm also following many of you also already. You can also follow me. If you are not new to us here, you probably think that we hate Tinubu. Nobody hates Tinubu. It's just that Tinubu cannot, give us exactly what we want, even Nigeria as it goes. Shout out. Bye for now. Eshegonyo. If I didn't mention your name, please don't be upset. All those on Twitter space, I give you salute. Our Biafras and the rest of you. Bye for now.